Welcome to my channel SciFiRomance. Thanks for watching and please like and subscribe. Princess Serenia of the Arkan Dominion kept her hands behind her back so no one would see them shaking. The royal hall was bright and cold, built from metal plates that echoed every sound. She felt small inside the huge chamber, though she was a trained heir of a proud warrior race. Today was supposed to be a day of peace, but in her heart it felt like an execution. She stood at the center of the hall, surrounded by guards and diplomats. Everyone's eyes were on her. Everyone waited for the same moment, the entrance of the human she was being forced to marry. A human, she swallowed. Her people had legends about humans. Not tales told to children, but warnings whispered in military rooms. Humans were unpredictable. They were emotional. They fought like wild storms and survived things no other species could. They did not break easily, but they often broke others. Serenia had never met a human in person. She had seen battle footage. Humans screaming in rage as they ran toward enemy fire. Humans lifting debris twice their weight to save their squad. Humans bleeding, laughing, refusing to fall. How could she ever be bound to such a creature? How could she ever share a home, or a life, with one? Her stomach twisted as she stared at the sealed metal door across the hall. Behind that door was the man chosen for her. The feared Earth soldier, Captain Roan Hale. Some said he was a hero. Some said he was dangerous. Her own people only said one thing: be careful. Humans hide their power until they choose to use it. The hall went silent as the door began to unlock. The sound echoed like a warning, like a countdown to something she could not escape. Serenia's claws slowly curled against her palms. The door slid open, and the human stepped inside. The human Captain Roan Hale did not look like the monster she imagined. But he also did not look harmless. He was tall, taller than most Arkan warriors, and broad in the shoulders. His dark uniform fit tightly over his muscle-packed frame. His skin was marked with old battle scars, pale lines of violence across strong arms. His hair was short, messy, and the color of storm clouds. His eyes were sharp and steady, like he spent his whole life reading danger. He walked with the calm of a man who knew exactly what he could do. Serenia's heart raced. Roan stopped a respectful distance from her. He didn't stare at her like she was a prize or an enemy. He simply stood, straight-backed and disciplined. Then he spoke, and his voice surprised her the most. It was not loud, not harsh, not commanding, just steady and polite. Princess Serenia, I am Captain Roan Hale. I hope today begins a peaceful future for both our worlds. Serenia blinked. Her throat closed around the words she practiced. She expected a growl, a smirk, a show of strength, but his tone was gentle. Was this a trick? Her people always warned her that humans could pretend. They studied emotions. They learned how to copy kindness. She stayed silent, afraid her voice would shake. Roan did not seem offended. He simply nodded, his expression unreadable. The marriage they never wanted. The ceremony was short. Too short. Both the Arkan Dominion and Earth Federation wanted this alliance sealed quickly. Any delay could restart the war they barely stopped. The ministers spoke. The treaties were signed. The camera drones recorded every second for both governments to prove the union was official. Serenia and Roan stood side by side. She couldn't focus on the words. She could feel his presence beside her, powerful, quiet, and impossible to ignore. When the ceremony ended, Roan extended a hand. A human gesture of respect. Serenia hesitated. Her claws twitched nervously. Would touching him allow him to sense her fear? Would he grip too tightly? Would it be another display of dominance? Roan noticed her hesitation and lowered his hand without complaint. No pressure, he said gently. We can take everything slow. Slow? Arkan males never moved slow. They took, claimed, demanded. Humans, she didn't know what humans did. Her confusion only grew. The first walked-together guards escorted them down a long hallway toward their assigned living quarters. The corridor hummed with soft blue lights. Serenia kept her gaze on the ground, embarrassed by how unsteady she felt. Roan walked beside her, silent but not cold. He did not try to walk ahead of her or crowd her. He matched her pace, even when she slowed down. At one point, she stumbled slightly, nerves catching in her feet. Roan moved instantly, not grabbing her, not catching her, just placing one hand open near her arm, in case she needed support. She didn't, but the gesture froze her heart. Why would a warrior bother doing something so small? Humans confused her. This human confused her most of all. They reached their shared quarters, a diplomatic suite large enough for two people from different species. When the door closed behind them, the silence felt heavy. Serenia took a step back, instinctively putting distance between them. Roan noticed again. And again. He did not react with irritation or pride. He simply walked to the far corner of the room and sat down on one of the chairs. He kept his hands visible. His voice soft. "Princess, I know this situation is difficult. For you, and honestly, for me as well." Serenia tensed. "You don't want this marriage either?" Owen shook his head. "I want peace. If this union makes peace stronger, then I will carry my part. But I won't force anything on you." "Force anything?" Her chest tightened. Did he know what Arkans usually did in political marriages? Did he understand how many expectations she carried? She whispered, "Why are you being gentle?" Roan looked confused. "Because you deserve respect. That should be normal." Normal? For her, nothing like this had ever been normal. The first night, a new shock. Serenia stood near the wall while Roan examined the room. The suite had one bed, one couch, and a rug on the floor. Space was limited. Roan pointed to the bed. "You take that." Serenia stiffened. "And you?" He shrugged. "Floor. Couch. Doesn't matter to me." That made no sense. "Humans don't need comfort?" she asked carefully. He laughed softly. "We like comfort. But I'm not taking the bed from you on our first night. That would be rude." Rude? Arkan males would fight each other for the bed. A husband would demand it without thinking. She stared at him, processing this new rule of human behavior. Roan grabbed a blanket, walked to the rug, and placed it down. Then he laid his jacket under his head like a pillow. Serenia blinked again. No male, Arkan, human, or otherwise, had ever given her a bed. Most never even gave her a choice. But this human slept on the floor for her. He turned off the main lights but left the soft blue wall lamp on. "For you," he said, eyes closed. "In case darkness makes you uneasy." It did, but she never said that aloud. How did he know? Humans truly were unpredictable. Days of confusion. The next few days were calmer than she expected. Roan did not try to touch her. Did not give commands. Did not demand obedience. Instead, he asked questions like, "What foods do you like? Do you need space today? Is there anything that makes you uncomfortable?" No one had ever asked Serenia such things. He cooked simple meals, human dishes with mild flavor, safe for Arkan digestion. He fixed her shoulder armor when he saw it was cracked. He carried heavy crates so she didn't strain her back. He listened when she talked about Arkan traditions. Every action confused her deeper. One night, she stared at him while he fixed the loose strap on his boot. Roan noticed. He didn't ask why she looked at him, didn't tease her. He only smiled politely. "Something on your mind, princess?" "I do not understand you," she whispered. He leaned back, curious. "What part?" "All of you." His smile faded into something softer. "I guess that's fair." He paused, then added, "I'm not here to make you live in fear. I'm here to build trust, however long that takes." Trust. She didn't know the last time she felt something close. Oh, that. 6. The threat she hears in the shadows. On the 7th day after their marriage, Serenia walked through a quiet corridor behind the diplomatic wing. She needed fresh air, or as close as she could get inside a space station. But as she passed a corner, she heard 2 Arkan soldiers whispering. They didn't see her at first. "The human must die during the peace ceremony," one hissed. "We need the war back. The Dominion is weaker without it." Serenia's blood turned cold. "But killing him will bring chaos," the other whispered. "Earth will blame someone. We'll make it look like a human internal conflict. The princess will be freed from the marriage. The Dominion will rise again." Serenia stepped back, her breath quiet but sharp. They were planning to kill Roan. Her husband. Her political partner. The one human who had treated her gently, kindly, respectfully. The guards heard a small clink of metal from her armor. They froze. "Someone's there." Serenia slipped away quickly, her heart pounding. She returned to the suite and locked the door, breathing hard. Roan looked up from the small table where he was cleaning a tool. "Serenia? What's wrong?" She stared at him. At the man she was told to fear, the man her people now wanted dead. Her throat hurt as she whispered to herself. "Why does my enemy treat me better than my own people ever did?" She didn't tell him. Not yet. She didn't know what to do. But she knew one thing. Tomorrow was the peace ceremony. Tomorrow, Roan would be killed if she stayed silent. The screen fades. Princess Serenia barely slept that night. Every time she closed her eyes, she heard the whispers again. The human must die. We will make it look like a human attack. The princess will be freed from the marriage. Her people, her own soldiers, wanted Roan dead. Roan, who slept on the floor so she could have the bed. Roan, who treated her like someone with value. Roan, who asked every day if she felt safe. How could she just stand by and let him be killed? But warning him meant betraying the Dominion. Saving him meant turning against the faction that raised her. Her heart ached with a heavy truth. Roan had shown her more kindness in 1 week than her own people did in her entire life. When dawn finally came, Serenia stood in front of the mirror and stared at her reflection. Her armor was polished, her hair braided in the ceremonial way. She looked like a princess. But she felt like a traitor. The ceremony begins. Roan was ready early, dressed in a clean Earth Federation uniform. He looked strong, calm, steady, completely unaware of the danger. He smiled warmly when she stepped out. "Sleep okay?" She lied. "Well enough." Roan picked up her ceremonial cloak and held it open for her. A simple gesture. Yet it made her heart twist painfully. He shouldn't be the one showing care. He shouldn't be the one protecting her feelings. He was the one in danger. But Serenia said nothing. Not yet. As they walked side by side to the main hall, reporters floated around with camera drones. Soldiers lined the corridor. Diplomats took seats. The hall's glass walls showed the stars outside like cold burning eyes watching everything. Today was supposed to prove peace. Instead, it would be the perfect cover for murder. Roan leaned slightly toward her and whispered, "Stay close. These events are always messy." She almost laughed. If only he knew. The trap springs. The ceremony opened with speeches. Long, boring speeches about cooperation, trade, and unity. Neither Serenia nor Roan cared about those words. Their worlds were still bruised from war. Many didn't want peace at all. As the Archon Chancellor began talking, Serenia's senses sharpened. She scanned the balconies above. The assassins would hide there. Archon shock lances could kill a human instantly. And then she saw the first glint of metal. Her breath hitched. Another weapon. Another glint. 4 assassins. Maybe 5. They were aiming down. Aiming at Roan. Her legs trembled. She had seconds to choose. Let her husband die, or betray her own military. Roan stood tall beside her, unaware, listening politely to the Chancellor's boring speech. He didn't notice her trembling. He didn't notice the danger. He trusted this ceremony. He trusted her. She whispered, "Roan." He turned to her. "Yes?" Her heart made the choice before her mind did. The leap that changes everything. Serenia didn't think. Didn't plan. She moved. She grabbed Roan's arm and threw her whole body into him, pushing him off the center platform. Serenia. A shock lance bolt sliced through the air where Roan's head had been 1 second earlier. The blast hit the floor instead, exploding in a flash of blue energy. Gasps. Screams. Alarms. Roan hit the ground hard, rolling with Serenia in his arms to shield her from falling debris. He wasn't angry. He wasn't confused. He reacted like a soldier. "Stay down," he barked. More bolts fired. Serenia pointed up with a shaking hand. "Assassins." Above, Roan's expression changed instantly. Not fear. A cold, protective fury. Why humans are feared. Roan didn't hesitate. He pulled Serenia behind a metal pillar and drew a compact human sidearm from his belt. "Are you hurt?" he asked. "No." "Good. Stay low." Then he moved. Serenia had seen humans fight on screens, but watching it in person was different, frightening and beautiful at the same time. Roan sprinted across the floor, dodging energy bolts. He ducked behind cover. He fired precise shots. Hat forced the attackers to retreat. The assassins tried to reload. Roan was already climbing the support beams. He reached the balcony in seconds, a feat no Archon could do without equipment. Serenia watched, stunned, as he disarmed the first assassin with a hit that knocked the weapon free. The second swung a blade, but Roan blocked it, twisted the attacker's wrist, and brought him down with one heavy strike. Every movement was controlled. Every motion was efficient. He wasn't fighting out of rage. He was protecting her. She had saved him, and now he was saving her. When the last assassin fell unconscious, Roan jumped back down, landing with a heavy thud. His eyes searched for her instantly. "Serenia." She stepped out from behind the pillar. "I'm here." He ran to her, grabbed her shoulders, and examined her quickly for injuries. You could have been killed, he said, voice shaking slightly with adrenaline. You could have been killed, she replied softly. Their eyes met. Silence filled the hall. The world seemed to pause. The truth finally spoken. Security forces stormed the hall, detaining the attackers. Diplomatic members yelled. Reporters shouted questions. Chaos was everywhere. But Roan ignored all of it. He pulled Serenia aside to a quiet corner near the emergency stairway. Princess, he said, voice low, you saved my life. Why? Her throat tightened. She had hidden her fear for years. She had obeyed commands. She had accepted loneliness. But this human gave her something she never had before. Respect, safety, choice. She looked into his storm-gray eyes and finally spoke the truth. Because you treated me with kindness, she whispered. Kindness no one ever gave me. Not my guards. Not my teachers. Not even my own family. Roan's eyes softened. And you showed me I am more than a political piece. You listened. You protected me. You cared. Her voice cracked. And I could not watch you die. Roan exhaled slowly, as if her words struck something deep inside him. He stepped closer. Serenia, I never wanted a forced marriage. But I wanted peace. And, now I want something else. Her heartbeat raced. What? You, Roan said quietly. Not as a duty. Not as a symbol. As someone I choose. Her breath caught. No one had ever chosen her. Not for who she was. Only for what she represented. She whispered, Roan, I choose you too. The words felt warm, real, right. 6. A new beginning. The political fallout after the attack was huge, but also predictable. The Arkan assassins belonged to a rogue faction. Their actions embarrassed the Dominion. The Dominion quickly apologized and doubled their peace promises. Earth accepted the explanation but demanded stronger security for Serenia and Roan. In the days that followed, Serenia stayed close to Roan, not because she was afraid, but because she felt safe. The strange human who once terrified her now felt like the one solid thing in her life. When everything settled, Serenia faced one final choice. Return to the Dominion as a political bride, or remain on Earth, free to build her own life with Roan. Her decision was easy. She took Roan's hand and said, I want to live where I am valued. He smiled softly. Then live with me. We'll build something new. No titles. No fear. Later, standing on a balcony overlooking the ocean waves of Earth, Serenia leaned into Roan's warmth. The stars above looked different from this planet, softer, brighter, hopeful. Roan placed an arm around her shoulders. You okay? He asked. Yes, she whispered. For the first time, yes. He kissed her forehead gently. She closed her eyes and breathed in the salty air. Roan, she said, I feared humans all my life. And now? She smiled. Now I know the truth. Your strength is not in power. It is in kindness. She leaned closer. And that is what makes you dangerous and beautiful. Roan laughed quietly and held her tighter. Together, they watched the horizon, a human and an alien princess, bonded not by politics but by choice. Peace didn't begin with the treaty. It began with them. The end.